What screams I'm poor, but pretend I'm rich. My old roommate spent his entire financial aid refund on a Guxy belt because the security guard at the mall assumed he couldn't afford it. There is a security guard that works at a popular bar/club in my city. He managed to buy an old Lambo recently. On the weekends, he will drive by the bar several times before his shift as people are lined up outside revving his engine while at the stoplight. His new thing is pulling onto the sidewalk in front of the bar, parking it, getting out, saying hi to everyone he works with, waiting for people to walk by the car so he can let them know it's his, and then leaving, again revving the engine as loud as possible on the sidewalk. He does this for about 2 hours before his shift starts at 11 or 12. If you have money and can afford nice cars, you do not need to show them off. Naming your children after luxury brands. It's generally good advice, if you have a lot of money, to keep your wealth secret or at least ambiguous, else people try to take advantage of you. Most wealthy people follow that rule, or they learn it pretty quickly. So anyone trying to show wealth is either new to it, or showing more than they have. How my Dominican family fights tooth and nail to give their kids Nike or Adidas before they can even walk. My brother always carries a wad of cash in a money clip. He has a $100 bill on the outside, but the rest is all $1. It's all for show. He has no money and lives with my parents. A few years back, my dad brought home one of those fancier looking square plates. He then told my mom that he wanted all of his dinners served only on this plate. We lived in a trailer park and always had cheap things for dinner, but for some reason he felt like he was special enough to only use this plate and be the only one allowed to use it too. At some point, she forgot and put his food on a different plate. He yelled at her, threw that food in the trash, and broke his special plate. Dude is poor financially and poor in his treatment of his family, so this is a pretty good answer to me. Posting selfies posed with things that aren't yours. I used to live in a trailer park and a surprising amount of neighbors had luxury cars, Mercedes/Lexus/BMW etc. Rental rims. I have a relatively poor friend who doesn't have a TV or anything, but they go around in a several £100 tracksuit and wear fake diamond rings they bought on Wish, which he tells people are real. Following constantly posting stupid entrepreneur shit on Instagram. Just saw 3 expensive looking cars with tires smoother than a beach ball. Asking people on Facebook to get in on your Herbalife scheme. Bragging about how you're going to get rich from crypto, but you keep talking about a different coin every week. Taking pictures in a fake luxury airplane. Used to work at a 7/11. Once a month for a week this guy would come in with a rented green Cadillac and a very obvious prostitute on his arm. Would flash a wad of money while in the store and make it very specific that he wants $10 on that green Cadillac right there. Coworker told me he does it with his SSI check. Live in Alaska. You have no idea who has money and who doesn't here. Well, like if they've got a Hughescraft, that's some indication. Bragging about how much money you have. Clothes and accessories with huge logos on them. Posting pictures of new items you purchased on Instagram and stuff. Me, telling people I own Bitcoin, but conveniently not mentioning that I only own 0.002 BTC. Bragging about wealth or high-paying jobs. Most of the rich people I've known in my life were actually quite quiet and secretive about their wealth. People who show off stacks of cash on pictures instead of depositing it into a bank account. An expensive current year model car, parked in front of a low-income apartment complex. Driving an old Maserati you bought a few months ago, only to sell it in a few weeks. BC you're too poor for the repairs. What we used to call a Brooklyn bank account. Simultaneously wearing every single piece of jewelry you own. Here in the Philippines, posting tons of selfies while holding their Starbucks drink, just taken at different angles. Women who post a bit too often about how great it is to be your own boss and be living a plush life, and here are pictures of me by a pool wearing a sparkly swimsuit, and you too can be rich, set your own hours, travel, and get to lounge by pools, if only you sign up with this definitely not a pyramid scheme company. Bonus points for having a glass of wine in the shot and forgetting to move the box it came in out of the shot, thus ruining the illusion that it was expensive wine. Anything that reads hustle, loyalty, respect. Buying baby Burberry or Gucci clothes. Just stupid. Asterisk I work in retail and see it all the time. I've been saving since I got pregnant for these baby shoes etc. Honestly, anyone that feels the need to openly display how much money they have by flexing designer clothes, talking about their income, showing off their car, etc. It just screams insecurity. Aside from maybe a few outliers, the only people who do this are poor or kids spending their parents' money. Posting money related quotes on social media. As much as some of these examples are based on shitty choices, there's also the fact that the poorer people get, the less stake they have in any kind of future or long-term thinking. That's not a critique of their intellect, it's just their reality, that they are never going to be able to travel, own a home, any of the basic aspirations that used to be drilled into people as options, if they worked hard. So where I might see a big TV as something that'd be nice, but I don't need one right now, they see that as being as good as life gets, watching bullshit in increasingly higher definition, because poverty doesn't have room for long-term gratification. Edit. This seems to have resonated. Thanks everyone. It's something I heard a couple of years back that's really stuck with me and made me less judgmental. Next time someone tells you what a great life those welfare/benefit scroungers have, remind them that that same life could be theirs, as long as they're prepared to lower their expectations to almost zero. Or $3,000 stereo and $3,000 rims on a Pose Beta car. I worked a minimum wage job for a long time, and it was crazy to me how many of my co-workers always had the newest iPhone, an expensive Starbucks drink *TWICE* a day, and obviously expensive clothes, hair, and makeup. It just all went on credit. However, it is ridiculously expensive to live where I am. $1 million for a 1,000 square foot home built in the 1980s level expensive, and I think the apathy over knowing they will never own a home, no matter how hard they work and save, leads people to simply buy what gives them that rush of dopamine and makes their day-to-day life more enjoyable. Rent is also super expensive here, about $1,500 a month for a 1-bedroom 500 square foot place. It's hard to blame people for spending the little bit of money they have left over at the end of the month on fun things, rather than saving it. When my sister and I were little, we would unplug the receiver of the phone, take it outside, and pretend to talk on it. The hope was that someone would see us and think we had one of those newfangled cordless phones and be jealous. I have a high school friend who is a self-proclaimed rapper. We are in our late 30s. He has LV and Burberry everything and posts photos of his shoes, belts, sunglasses, and even face masks. He poses in front of his apartment that I know is not the best. He also has a GoFundMe for studio time. He has a few kids, and I'm in touch with his first baby mama. She says his income reported to the court does not match his lifestyle. I'm hoping he has success in his career, for the kids' sake. Making $45k a year, but getting a truck that's $40k off the lot. Blatant displays of trad wealth in the form of ostentatious brand names, flashy accessories, etc. A couple of genuinely rich people I know keep it very low-key. They have money and stuff like property, don't flaunt their wealth in your face, and often look/dress like Joe Average from the suburbs. For British people, holidays to Dubai. Often the same price as going to Spain, but somehow seen as "flashy and aspirational" despite being a miserable hole built on slavery. $75,000 car parked in front of a $75,000 house. When your car is completely pimped, but your house has a tarp on the roof and 18-inch grass in the lawn.